Hello, folks. Welcome to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If we had any sponsors, this is where we would talk about them. But the only thing we've got to say is that we are not associated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Enjoy. Hello, Sooner Football fans. Welcome to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. I'm Terry, Rob, and Caleb. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer, Terry.
Boomer Caleb. This week we put out a poll on our Facebook page, talked about the defense because this is the dead time of year and there's nothing to talk about other than the past and what we hope for the future. And the talk for quite a while on Facebook and Twitter about OU is the defense. Can the defense get better? Is the defense going to get better? People started comparing it down to Venables' defense and Stoops, and back in the day, everybody, including I think us, was like, Venables needs to go because our defense was getting terrible. We thought. Now we got Stoops back, and there's really not any change. Do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I do think there's a change. If you printed out some stuff from 01 to now, and it just looks like every year our defense has just dropped in rank almost every year. We went from single digits to double digits to in the 40s to the 50s. Last year at 74, this year at 60. So during the Venables years, at least we had 7 and 6 and 4. And there's an 8. But, I think it's been a steady decline since Brent Venables has left and the addition of Mike Stoops.
Yeah, and what we've got is when the last year that Venables was here, we were the 43rd rush defense, the 79th pass defense, and the 31st scoring defense. This year we were 60 in rushing, 80 in passing, and I think most of that came in the Baylor game.
And it's markedly better than it was the year before.
Yeah, the year before we were 113. And then we were 57th in scoring defense. I don't think, like Rob said, we're getting declining in power. I think we were Venables last year. We were 10-3 and we finished 16th in the country. This year we were 12-2 and we finished 3rd. Better team, but I think a way better offense. Our offense, I think. We have gone into this phase, like I said, all year long, of our offense is going to outscore whoever we play.
Well, we have the best player in the nation.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
And I think a lot of the best players around him on offense.
Some very good ones, that's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Caleb? You got anything to pipe in on?
All I was going to say is Brent Venables, since he's been at Clemson's, had like top 5 defenses. He's been there. So
yeah, and they weren't anything to brag about before he got there. So,
but is that because Bob Stoops wouldn't let Venables do what Venables wanted to, or is it?
Well, we can only speculate, but
he's good. He gets better recruits there.
He's obviously doing something right up there in Clemson.
No one wants to play Big 12 defense. No one wants to go Big 12 and play defense. No, I don't think all team that gets big defensive players is Texas. I mean, OU just got a few this year, but that's the first in a long time they got big defensive players.
So you don't think it has to do with the coaching or anything else? It's just
players.
Yeah. I think Bob had his, personally, where it's all speculation, Bob had his hands on the defense. That's his forte, and he wanted certain things done. And Clemson now, maybe Dabo was up there going, hey, do what you want. I'm out of it.
And it could very well be the case.
Yeah.
And if it is, he's made the right choice, obviously.
And because they're getting – but the ACC, I mean, I don't think they're a better conference than the Big 12. They've got Clemson and Florida State was terrible this year.
Terrible.
I got Louisville. I mean, they have a lot of ranked teams.
But so do the Big 12. So
they've been representing the college football playoff every year, unlike the Big 12. They've been in the playoffs every year.
We've been in 2 out of the 4, so – thank God we're the only ones representing that.
We're carrying the conference, aren't we? I mean, literally, we are carrying the conference.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just shocked me that our defenses haven't been any better ranked. I guess we just felt like they were better. I thought we had higher ranked defenses, but when I got into digging in the numbers, I couldn't find anything that was any better than this. Our best defense, since 2000 was the 2001 defense.
Well, it's a lot of bend don't break defense, so the numbers are going to look ugly. But if you remember, really nobody just tore us apart.
Yeah. But the other thing is, though, I mean, we got a lot of guys coming back. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? A good thing, we got a lot of guys coming back from the 60th ranked rush defense, the 80th ranked pass, and the 57th ranked scoring. Is that a good thing?
That's what happens when we play a lot of freshmen. You're going to give up a lot of yards. That's when it's bad when we have to play freshmen.
Because we played a lot of freshmen and sophomores.
I think the guys that we got are pretty good players. So I think the freshmen coming in are going to push them. So, and we're a next man up team. So if the freshman's better, he's in.
I think that's obvious because they did that this year back in the defensive backfield with the little freshman Trey Norwood, 5'11", 168 pounds. It's like a freshman in high school size, but he did a really good job coming in and filling. But we've got the odd thing is, to me, we also had two guys listed as defensive ends and linebacker slashes this year. We never had that before that I could go through and looking that they had two different positions ranked for them in what they were listed on the university and on other pages, which was Obo and Mark Jackson. They have them both listed. And of course, Obo is gone, and Mark Jackson is still listed as a defensive end tight end. Where do you think he's going to end up, one or the other? Do you think they're going to stick him up there?
And it's just hard to say yet. Until we get a look at him in the spring game, we're just not going to know, are we?
Yeah. Okay, you said that's what you'd heard that's what they were doing with Caleb Kelly.
They're saying he's going to take his spot. There's more where he does, but that's what he's best at doing is pass rushing. But I mean, the reason they had that, though, because he's in the midst of from 3-4 to a 4-3 defense.
So they split guys' time.
That's why they have the linebacker and DN, because Mike Stoops trying to go back to a 4-3, and they slowly do it because you just can't do it all at once.
Yeah. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got like 5 defensive linemen that'll be juniors this year, with the exception of, you said Lampkin.
Right.
Lampkin's not coming back. So that puts us with 4.
He wasn't even a starter. I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, I don't know why he thinks he's.
Oh, why he's.
He wants to get money.
Yeah,
I mean,
money.
I understand that, but if nobody drafts him, then he's probably just hurt himself.
Yeah.
Then again, we thought a lot of players that left early wasn't really smart, and then they ended up being pretty good pros. Like King Stills, people were like, "Why is he leaving?" And then he ended up being a really good pro.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of players that's been like that before.
No, you're right.
He has a body for it. Just see if he can do everything else.
Well, I mean, it's not like we were completely stacked on the D line this year. So for him to not break the starting lineup very often, of course, he did have some injury this last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he was injured a little bit, but at the end of the year, he was healthy. And when he was healthy, he was probably he was hands down our best D lineman out there when he was healthy.
You think so?
Just that TCU game alone, when he sacked the quarterback with one arm while I was getting blocked. He just got a quarterback with one arm and pulled him down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking for a player, who's going to move in there. And, we didn't get to see very many people other than these guys play this year. So we've got a couple of people, hopefully, that can step up. We got the
Michael Thompson.
Is he going to be an immediate impact? I know everybody thinks he can be, but you just got to wait and see. We got to replace Emmanuel Beal at linebacker. We're deep at linebacker, so who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, DJ Ward is also gone. He's, played a lot of defensive end last year, so those two guys are going to be pretty tough to. But I mean, some of the guys that are coming back, Gallimore played big minutes this last year. Amani Bledsoe came a long way, so we'll see. Some of these guys and. Because, another year in the system, so bigger, stronger, faster, right?
Yeah, that's what we hope for. Now, of course, all the big talk has been with the defense is Bookie, Brendan Radley Hiles. A highly touted 4-star, 4 to 5-star, depending on where you look, defensive back. He's already on campus. And, you know, I'm floating around on Twitter for us watching stuff, and he is out beating the streets already. He's tweeting. I put a post on Facebook. The number 1 corner that's out of Louisiana, he was up here at Oklahoma, and they had an interview with him down in Louisiana. And he said that Bookie just sent him a text. That's all he's talked to him since then, that said, if you ain't got game, don't show up. That's all I got to say. So, and they're touting this new defensive backfield with him back there as the no-fly zone defense. You're already starting to see the hashtags coming from him and other guys on the defensive backfield. Saying a lot for a freshman, but he did come out, you know, graduated early. He's on campus. He's going to go through spring, so we'll get to see what he does. I'm anxious to see him because everybody talks about the kid like he's a superstar.
Well, I'm excited to see somebody with that type of attitude come in here and say, listen, this is the way it's going to be. You know, if you want to play with us, you better bring your A game.
Right.
So that's what, you know, student football is all about.
Right. So we've got a lot of stuff to fill. It's a lot of dead time this time of year. We're going to be talking about the upcoming episode. We're going to talk about the spring game. Going to look at the recruiting classes that we got coming in. We got another defense tight end commit this weekend for 2019, which still just dumbfounds me that the recruiting is going as hard. I've never paid that much attention to recruiting until we started doing this podcast. It is every day.
Something going on.
Something
every
going
day.
on. I mean, if you start following these kids and you follow Lincoln Riley and the coaching staff and OU on Twitter, holy crap.
Yeah, well, there is a dead time. So here
but
pretty quick, you won't hear nothing.
But it's that you also see the kids that are, you know, non-committed yet, that maybe verbally committed. They're talking back and forth, and you get to see that too.
So the good thing is for those kids, there is no dead time.
Right.
They can if they choose to recruit like
Bookie
is, that he can do it anytime, whenever, wherever, to whomever.
Yeah.
So.
And the university actually put out a cool video on him. You can find it on Soonersports.com. Him going through his orientation, which is really cool. If you haven't checked that out, the stuff that they put them through, the social media training and classes and all that. But they showed a part. He's you know, not only you can tell by this video by this interview with him, he's not only an athlete, he's very articulate, unlike I was in that last little bit. But he's really looking forward to getting here or being here and start making an impact.
And I think we're ready to see this kid play.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's gonna, most of the time you don't talk that kind of game unless you bring it.
Right. So hopefully, you know, he pays out to, you know, I think we're going to see him, you know, probably starting at the beginning of the year and filling some of those defensive areas. So basically, all of our followers on Facebook, the 83% voted for the Venables defense was better than the 2017 defense.
It was just more exciting. You know,
Yeah.
It seemed like we attacked more. We had bigger plays. I don't know. It just I didn't vote on it, but had I voted, that's the one I would have voted for.
I voted on our defense this year before I went and looked at anything, and then I was like, crap, I was wrong. I mean, because when you really look at it, it's like you said, Rob, it's gradually declined, and it's time to turn that little corner and start making an incline with it. I think Lincoln's got it on the right direction. One thing I've noticed, we can touch on this for a few minutes, but most of the people being recruited, Mike Stoops will retweet it. Mike Stoops will like a tweet. Most of the players that are coming in, they talk about their position coach and not Mike Stoops. So is he's not involved with the recruiting as much, or is he just sitting down in the office with them when they're coming in?
Well, honestly, I didn't think he'd be here by now. Really, well, I thought when signing day came and went, so would Mike Stoops.
Really?
I really did, but he seems to still be on campus. Or, I mean, I really don't know.
I don't either.
But I think somebody, you know, there's a whole lot of people watching that stuff pretty close that
Yeah.
we're not, you know. But I think we would have heard something.
Yeah.
Had he.
Well, I read an article on Benny and Bud's website. A group of guys that we're going to try to have on the show here in the next week or two, but did a real good article and said, basically this is, feels that this is his last opportunity at Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would say if he pushes out another 60 and 80, if we get into the triple digit defense kind of thing,
or we have
the recruiting class.
Yeah, or we have an opportunity to get in the national championship game with 5 minutes left, and all you need is a stop.
Thanks for opening.
It's not all falls on him, but
You're right.
It does all fall on him. But, it really does. You can sit here at the end of the day. It does. It falls on Lincoln Riley, just like he's going to have to make those decisions, just like Bob Stoops did with letting the golden boy of Oklahoma football go, Josh Heupel.
Right.
I don't think it's all on him because that one touchdown Chubb had when there was 5 guys tackling him, that one would bring him down. You call the right defense right there. You can't. The players just can't tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he calls right defense a lot. The players just don't do their jobs.
Yeah.
It's a good point, but he's still going to get the heat.
Yeah, he'll still get blamed for it.
He's still going to get blamed. Yeah.
But again, in a situation like that, like you said, we were talking earlier, it was a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. Does that change this year? Does it change next year because now they're bigger, stronger, faster, more involved? We got better backups. We got better things. That's all we can hope for.
Well, that's where the rubber meets the road for Mike Stoops.
Right.
Okay, you got this big recruiting class in. You better get them developed, and you better get them on the field where they're supposed to be in the right spots and in the right place.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
but I don't think he's a bad coach. I think when he was at Arizona, old boy up at Ohio State, they wanted him up there.
I agree, but Terry, you and I coached together, and there's a difference between yelling at players and yelling at players.
Right.
And I don't
getting your point.
I don't necessarily like the way he does it.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's been videos of him in the on TV, with the finger on the face mask, and but then again, Mike, Venables, who was here before him, they assigned a coach
right
at Clemson to keep him off the field and to keep him from getting in the player's face.
Yeah, players who play for Venables and Stoops say Venables is way crazier. So
I'm not saying you can't get results that way. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think you can coach a kid, and not yell at him like he's a piece of crap.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for our show on the defense. We'll have some other ones coming out this week. Go like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans.com, Instagram, and YouTube at Sooner Football Fans Podcasts. Let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer, Terry.
Boomer.